Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and hot off the press, we've got the Springbok team for the second test in Wellington. Lots of changes, quite an attacking, exciting team with a lot of youngsters, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get on. I see a lot more try-scoring opportunities with this particular backline compared to last week's backline, which was a bit more conservative, and there's a bit more beef in the pack as well this time. So let's start it at the top, number 15. We've got Aphelele Fassi back in the team. Great to see him at 15 again. I can see him being the fullback for South Africa in the next World Cup, and the more experience he can get, the better. Also, his kicking game's coming along. Number 14, Cheslin Kolbe. Good game last week. I'm interested how Ardie Savea managed to hang with him in that foot race in the previous test, because either Kolbe's starting to slow down a bit with age, or Ardie Savea is really quick. Let me know, the New Zealand guys, exactly how quick is Ardie Savea. Well, always good to see a loose forward with that kind of gas. 13 is Canan Moodie, exactly where I want him to be. On wing, he's good under the high ball and wing, but he just doesn't have that extra yard of pace for that out-and-out X factor that like something like Edwell has. But he's more than capable at outside centre. Big lad. So I think he's going to do well with Damian Willemse on his inside. Hasn't played much rugby for the last couple of years, been struggling with injury. And you could arguably say inside centre is his best position. I don't like him at fly-off, doesn't quite have enough accuracy with a boot. But at fullback and inside centre, even outside centre, he's really good. 11 is Ethan Hooker, youngster coming from Hollywoodbets Sharks, only 2 caps. Hasn't really had that many opportunities. I'd like to see what he's got. I want to see what his gas is like compared with the New Zealand wingers. But looks like he's got a high work rate, good bustling. Reminds me of a 7-a-side player. At number 10 we have Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu back at number 10, which is good to see. He really sparks the back line when he gets on the field, and made a noticeable difference in the second half when he came on. I'm wondering, is he better as an impact player in the second half, or can he do that for the full game? Because his body does take a pounding the way he plays the game. But an excellent talent, and it's going to be interesting to see how he goes with Cobus Reinach at number 9. His kicking game looked on point last week. Looked like he was kicking the ball further than Grant Williams. Doesn't quite have the pace of Williams, but definitely I'd say he's got the bigger boot of the two, which comes in handy in greasy New Zealand conditions. And then number 8, where there's been a lot of talk around the 8th man position in South Africa, with Siya filling in quite successfully in the first test and in the second test to a degree. But as soon as he came off, Kwagga just doesn't give you that go-forward ball. And ideally, you want somebody over 110, 115 kilo at that position. And that's why it's good to see the battering ram, Jasper Wiese, with 36 caps and 10 points, 2 tries, coming back into the team. 7, Pieter-Steph du Toit picks himself. Siya Kolisi back at 6. I like him at 6, and I like him as captain. I find that backline players aren't optimal as captain unless they're a scrum half or maybe a fly half. You're just not close enough to the action the whole time, and ideally the person needs to be in the scrum, because that's where most of the close calls happen with refereeing. And then at 5 we've got Ruan, Nortje and Lood de Jager. I haven't seen these two play together much. They're quite similar players. Neither of them is really an enforcer, so I think Malcolm Marx is going to have to pick up the slack there, and Thomas du Toit and Oxen Chair. I'm a little surprised that they didn't go with Achia Snyman and either Urayasu and Lood de Jager, because you need a bit of that enforcerness in your lock. One of them has to be that way inclined, and to be honest, neither of them are that. They could be brothers, Nortje and de Jager. Number 3, you have Thomas the Tank Engine du Toit. And then at 2, Thomas du Toit had a workmanlike performance in the last couple of games. Number 2, you have, they did have, you could argue that our most dominance we've had has been in the front row, so No need to change that. Malcolm Marx at 2. He had an off day. I mean, he was due an off day because he's been one of our standout players for a good couple of years now. And I just hope his fitness is right. Some people were saying he was panting quite hard in the second half. But he's due a good game. And with kind of a lightweight locking pairing, you really need Malcolm Marx in there to sort the Kiwis out if they get out of hand. But although having said that, these days there's not actually that much fisticuffs anymore, sadly. It's nice to see the boys getting to know each other. And then Oxenchair at 1, who has been playing some of the best rugby of his life and has made that one jersey his own after being one of the OGs of the bomb squad back in the day. Then on the bench we have at 16 Manus van der Merwe of the Scarlet, 2 caps. So they're really blooding some youngsters in here. Jan Hendrik Wessel, 6 caps. Vulko Low, I like this kid, 21 caps. Achie Snyman, 43 caps. I think he should be starting more. He's perennially on the bench. We've got a 5-3 split here, and then we've got Kwagga Smith, hardest working man in the team, Grant Williams, Manie Libbok and Andre Esterhuizen. Manie. I get worried when I see Manie Libbok on the bench. I prefer him starting because these pressure kicks at the end of the game, he just shouldn't be the one to take them. Looking at this team, who else could take the kicks potentially? Damian Willemse, but he's not an 80% kicker either. So unless they put Feinberg to fullback second half, and you'd have to take Fassi off or move him to wing. Manie's got such brilliant attacking, kicking and passing generally and running, but a fly half that can't kick at 80% clutch, there's going to be a problem there. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, just some quick facts. Springbok record against New Zealand: played 109, won 42, lost 63, drawn 4, points 4, 1,807, points against 2,559. So there you go. The New Zealanders are still up in the series, largely probably the McCaw and the Carter era. You guys piled on a lot of points there. Of late we've been dragging a few back, with the exception of the last game. Tries scored 175, tries conceded 247. Win percentage 38.6%. Some more miscellaneous. Should the Springboks win this match, they will retain the Freedom Cup against New Zealand, which they won for the first time since 2009. The last time the teams met at the Sky Stadium was in 2019. I mean, where's the Sky Stadium? Why not just be the Sky Stadium Wellington? Commercialization, where they played to a 16-16 draw, with the Boks winning the previous encounter 36-34 at the stadium. Springbok flanker Siya Kolisi will play his 96th Test match, leaving him only 4 short of the 9th Bok centurion in the history of the game, and he will lead the Bokke for the 64th time. Willie Leroux was the last guy to go to 100 tests, but I'd say, did they start at the same time? Probably a similar sort of time. I think Willie's a bit older though, probably started a year or two younger. Jasper Wiese will return to the Springbok squad for the first time since the 45-0 beating of Italy in Quebec after serving a 4-month suspension. The total caps in the Springbok starting lineup is 626. There are 173 in the back line, 453 caps among the forwards. On the bench there are further 193 caps. The average cap per player in the back line is 25, the forward 57, while the players on the bench are 24. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I like what Rassi's done. He listens to criticism, good, bad, and indifferent, and really acts on when things need to change.